Hi. In the assessment instructions, we start off by asking you to consider two things. That is, to write a story for an adult readership and not for children. And the second one is to not write a erotic scene just for the sake of erotica or a violent scene for the sake of violence. So I'd just like to explain exactly what we mean by that. So with the first thing, when we say please write for an adult reader, not for a child, that doesn't mean you can't have children in your story. You can, that's fine. You can have a child narrator if that just suits. I'm sorry, that's my cat. It's very acceptable, and there can be some very strong fiction written as if by a child for an adult readership. But the difference is that the language used, so it's not likely to sound like simple one clause sentences or very plain direct speech. It's going to have more complex language that would suit an adult readership, and the themes and the plot and the whole conflicts within it still need to be one that fits an adult. I guess as a novel, one of the first things that spring to mind on that would be Stephen King's Stand By Me. It's written from the point of view of a young guy and his 12-year-old or something like that. But it's a story with themes that totally resonate with the adult readership. So that's the kind of thing I want you to aim for. On a slight aside, thinking of readership is one of a very important point for writers. Often we'll begin by just writing and having a kind of vague idea of who might like our stories. But if we can define that readership more and then shape stories and pitch them more effectively to a particular age group or reading group, it often results in a much stronger story. So as kind of a practice along that pathway, for this assessment we ask you to write for an adult readership. And if you want to keep a specific reader in mind, it's me. I'm the one who's going to be reading and responding to your written work. So that's an important point. Just keep that one in mind as we move on. So the second point I just wanted to make is when I say don't write erotica for erotica's sake, it's not because I'm a prude or anything else like that. It's because that kind of writing isn't actually a story. A scene is just a scene, whether it's an erotic scene between a couple, whether it's a description of a fight between people, whether it's even like appearance. It first appears the story, like I had a recent submission in which I read a very well written scene about a family stuck in a house and being attacked by a ghost, and it had lots of good potential, but in the end it had no story. It was just a family in a house and a ghost, and there was nothing connecting it. There was nothing resolved. There's no sense of purpose or what that meant. It was just something that happened. So one of the things you need to consider, you've written and you've reviewed, you need to sort of look at your own text and think, how does this create a story? Is it just a description of something, or is there a sense of cause and effect? Does this event, this scene, mean something to my main character, and does it move the story along to its conclusion, to its denouement? So I just want you to think about that it's not that I'm against violence or anything like that. I'm not. That's not a problem. It's actually about making sure anything you include in your story is more than a description, it's more than a scene, but it has a point and it connects with what's gone before, and it causes something to happen after, so that there's this sense of cause and effect throughout your story, which leads it all to the grand denouement.